guys, it's Corinne with Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. I am standing in a brand new 2026 Blackstone 250 RDS built by Outdoors RV right here in Oregon. The 250 RDS is going to be in the Blackstone series. So if you're unfamiliar with Outdoors RV, they build multiple different floor plans, starting with the Creekside, that's going to be their smallest models. The Timber Ridge is going to be like medium-sized models, and then your Blackstone are going to be 2 or more slide outs and typically a little bit longer. So often when people are shopping for a trailer, they might compare this 250 RDS to the Timber Ridge 25 RDS. Same exact floor plan, where the difference is in the bedroom. So this one is exactly 1 foot longer than the Timber Ridge, but it gives you another wardrobe closet in the bedroom, as well as an extra foot around the end of the bed. So if you're somebody who maybe wants to travel for extended periods of time, rather than just a long weekend, the 250 RDS might be the better option over the Timber Ridge 25 RDS. Both, like I said, are going to be identical, so they're going to be a rear dinette model. So Outdoors RV makes a rear dinette model, not only in the Timber Ridge and in the Blackstone, but they also now make the 25 DVS in the Backcountry series. So the Backcountry series, that's what you would go to if you have to have an onboard generator. So the Creekside, Timber Ridge, Blackstone, those are not generator models, so you can't add a generator into those. The Backcountry is the route you would want to go if you want to have the built-in LP generator. They have also started building this exact same floor plan in the Glacier Peak fifth wheel. I just took one to the Outdoors RV owners group, the camp out up at Wallowa Lake this year. Absolutely love it. It's a very cool floor plan, just like this. Little bit different configuration with the bedroom bathroom because it's a fifth wheel. But if you love this rear dinette model, but you kind of want to go with a fifth wheel to keep the overall length a little shorter, then I would absolutely check out the Glacier Peak F26 RDS. In fact, I will link the Glacier Peak model, the Timber Ridge, as well as the Backcountry in the show notes down below. So if you want to see one of those, you can just click on that link. So once you pick out your Outdoors RV, because all of them are going to be built the same. So even if you buy a Creekside or a Blackstone, a fifth wheel, or a Backcountry, you're going to get the same Four Seasons package. You're going to get the same thickness of sidewalls. Everything's going to be the same, the Off-Road X4 package. There's going to be slight differences, but for the most part, the quality is going to be identical. Once you pick the floor plan that you love, then you have the option of picking it in a Mountain series or the Titanium series. We stock all of ours here at Thompson RV in the Titanium series. Part of that is because all of us have been camping our entire lives. We know value when we see it, and the Titanium adds a ton of value, some of which you just can't even add in the aftermarket. Like if you were going to try and add it to a Mountain series later, it just doesn't fiscally make any sense to do so. So the the Titanium series is going to be the way to go as far as we're concerned. You're going to get upgraded cabinetry, you're going to get a larger air conditioner, digital thermostat, backup cameras, side marker cameras, but more importantly, auto leveling, which is especially nice if you're traveling alone. You're going to get the Lamelux 4000 high gloss fiberglass, the frameless windows. You get different countertops, different interior colors, fancier, more like home style faucets and things of that nature. So you really do get a lot of upgrades when you go to the Titanium series. So this one is in the Titanium. I will point out a few more options as we go through, but for the most part, trust me when I say that the Titanium is definitely worth the extra money that is involved when you purchase a Titanium. So again, this is going to be a rear dinette model. One thing that I love about the RDS models is that I would say they check every single box. So typically people have a list. They want a lot of natural light. Check. They want a lot of storage. Check. They want counter space, clothing space. Check, check. So it has everything that you would need for a travel trailer, and you're not giving up anything. Sometimes when you get big windows, you give up storage. Sometimes when you get, too long, right? So sometimes people will go, they want something that has everything in it, but then all of a sudden they're at 35 feet long. This one is a good manageable size, a little over 32 feet, tip to tip, 25 more or less on the interior length. But you're gonna get, like I said, pretty much everything will be included on this 250 RDS. So big windows here in the back. I do love having the dinette at the back versus, say, chairs or something that's facing away from the windows. I found myself sitting at the back dinette, reading a magazine, drinking my coffee. You can work on a laptop. You can do everything right here, and you have a nice big picture window to see out when you're working. This also will make down into a bed. It's Outdoors RV's mountain dinette, so it's over 7 feet long once it's made down into a bed. They use extremely sturdy table bases and legs out of the yachting industry. And the titanium is going to come with a little bit different color on the interior, which I prefer definitely over the Mountain Series. The Mountain Series is a lot darker, so I really prefer this more reclaimed wood look, along with the more gray undertones on the darker color and the grayer undertones on the tan as well. You're going to have storage on each side of the dinette. So a nice big pot and pan drawer that pulls all the way out on heavy duty ball bearing drawer guides. And they give you a nice latch on each of those so that they don't come flying open going down the road. On each side of the dinette too, there is a little additional storage. You just have to take off the cushions and lift up the board underneath to get to the storage in those areas. Because it's a titanium, everything is going to be trimmed out in wood. So on a Mountain Series, this would all be Formica, and this would be wrapped in the same dark brown leather that you would see on here. I really prefer the wood. It just looks, again, a lot more like home. You get the slow rise blackout shades. These are especially handy in Alaska when the sun doesn't go down. You really do want a blackout shade, but also at nighttime, you're not going to get, when you have the lights on inside, you won't have silhouettes on the outside of the coach, right? So those old style day-night shades, you could see right through them at night when the lights were on inside the trailer. Theater seating is what we have in this particular model. This comes in 2 colors, so you can get the dark or the light. So you basically, the entire trailer is going to stay the same. The only thing that changes when you change colors is right here. So the cool thing about Thompson RV is, let's say you want this new 2026 model, but you really prefer the dark theater seating. We have it in stock. Let's say you have kids or a mother-in-law or hunting buddies and you need a sleeper sofa. We have it in stock. So we have the dark and the light in stock in all the different configurations. If you really wanted to, you could even do 2 rocker recliners right here. Theater seating is by far and away our most popular option. So you have a little ripcord right here that reclines the theater seating. You have cup holders as well as storage in between. Often I will have people too, this is all removable, so they will take this and they will tuck it into the side over here and turn this more into a love seat if they want to snuggle. Another cool thing about the 25 RDS as well as the 250 RDS is going to be this storage right here. Because the slide out is just a little bit longer, so it's not just the theater seating in the slide out, you're going to get this extra pantry. You have a 12 volt and USB charging port right there too, which is kind of nice if you need to have your phone or tablet plugged in while you're in the theater seating. And then you also have a drawer down below. One thing I'd like to point out, like, I don't typically pack a lot of dry food. I typically pack a lot of fresh food. So this is a great place to store linens, extra clothing, hunting gear, whatever. So you can really use it for whatever you want. Over here on your entertainment center, we have optioned in the fireplace. If you chose to not option in the fireplace, it would come with 2 doors. We also have those in stock here at Thompson RV. Very rarely, but sometimes somebody doesn't want a fireplace, and we typically stock ours with. So we can remove the fireplace, put the doors right back in. You have a cabinet right here for a little additional storage. Because it's a titanium, you're going to have solid surface countertops, not just in the kitchen, but always in the entertainment center, next to the bed on the nightstands, as well as in the bathroom. You have a nice 12 volt TV, and this is a smart TV. So we've been adding a lot of Starlink ports. If you have Starlink, like the Starlink Mini, you can plug that in, and then you have Wi-Fi and internet, so you can watch Apple TV or Amazon, Netflix, whatever. So that's kind of a cool feature. This is on a swing arm, So this comes out and around so that you can see it better from the theater seating. The other thing too though is I found myself, I would always put a pillow up in the dinette and sort of lean against the back wall and watch TV from there with my feet up on the dinette. So there's multiple options to do that. Same thing with a sleeper sofa, you can kind of sit sideways, or if you make this more into a love seat. So there's lots of configurations to have a good TV viewing area. And additional storage up here. And then in conjunction with the TV, you're going to have a CD DVD player, HDMI and USB ports as well. And it also has Bluetooth for your phone, so you can listen to music inside or outside of the trailer, and more charging ports, so 12 volt and USB. And then coming over into the kitchen, another thing I love about this floor plan is the additional counter space. So quite often in a trailer, you're going to end up with about this much counter space, maybe a flip up countertop extension if you're lucky. I love that this has this whole extra space right here, because not only do you have a lot of counter space, but you also have a huge amount of storage down here. I had a gal in yesterday and she had in like an air fryer. You can do a toaster oven. I pack my griddle. So you can pack like a nice big appliance. It could be anything, a crock pot. So again, if you're doing longer traveling, you can pack the things that you would want from home. You have extra storage up here as well. 110 outlets right here as well as there. 2 kitchen windows. Again, that's not really common in the travel trailer industry, so it's really nice to be able to see out underneath your awning. You have a knife rack, a backsplash, and then for additional counter space, they've given you the glass bifold cover. Flip this up when you're ready to cook, and you have a 3-burner stove. The front burner is going to be high output. Because it's a titanium, everything's going to be stainless steel. You have a nice large oven. And another thing that I feel like is kind of priceless on the titanium, seems minor, but you have a direct spark ignition for the pilot light in the oven. You also have a pot and pan drawer right down here below. Again, stainless steel microwave as well as range cover. You have drawers. This one comes with a cutlery tray as well as 2 additional drawers. Storage underneath the kitchen sink here. And then you have 2 drawers on the end here as well. So lots of drawers, lots of storage. Single basin farm style sink. For additional counter space, you have the really nice sink covers. You have a wire rack in the bottom to protect the sink. And then again, you're going to get the nicer faucets in a titanium. It might seem minor, but it's really nice when you're out on the road for long periods of time to have it feel a little bit more like home. Nobody likes the flimsy little faucets that come in travel trailers typically. Same with the mattress, right? So typically you're going to get a low-end mattress in an RV. In the titanium, you're going to get the upgraded $1,200 mattress, which is absolutely amazing. So there's just all those little upgrades that really do make a big difference. Additional cabinet space up above here. And then there should be some storage right back here as well. So access behind the sink and an additional 110 outlet. And then you have your auto leveling screen right here. So typically when we auto level the trailer, we're going to do that from outside, but this would be the screen that you can get into and look at the auto leveling if you ever needed to do something to it. Right here, you're going to have your gauges for your different tanks, 80 gallons of fresh water in a Blackstone series. You have your switches for your gas and electric water heater. We option all of ours in with the 12 volt heat pad on the fresh water tank. So that's in conjunction with the 4 Seasons package that already comes on the coach. That's just going to be for when you're traveling down the road in super cold temperatures, but you want to pack your fresh water, you would kick on that little heat pad. And then your slide out button as well as your awning. Now it's a titanium, so it's going to come with the little remote as well, so you can walk around the outside of the coach and watch your slide out come out. So you don't have to be in here pushing the button and hoping that it's not going to hit a tree or a pedestal. So that's a really handy thing as well, especially when you're traveling alone. So I know there's a lot of people out there traveling by themselves, And so again, some of the features on the titanium, such as the remote, the auto leveling, the backup camera, all of those things make it a lot easier when you're towing without any spotter. Here we've got the new 12-volt fridge, and of course it's stainless steel as well. This one is going to be 10.7 cubic feet. The 12-volt fridges have been working wonderfully. The only thing is that you do want adequate solar as well as lithium batteries in order to operate this properly while boondocking. So we would recommend the max package that would go on the front tongue. If you're going to boondock, we would recommend the max package, which would be 3 of the 100 amp hour Battle-Born lithium batteries. And then also we've been ordering all of ours in with either 600 or even 1,000 watts of solar. They come standard from the factory with 400 watts. We think 600 would be a little bit better. Then for people who are wanting to camp in extreme conditions or low daylight levels, right? So like winter, then we would go with 1,000 watts. So one of the main differences between the 250 RDS, well actually the only difference between the 250 RDS and the 25 RDS is going to be right here in the bedroom. So you have an additional foot of space right here at the foot of the bed. So there's no squeaking by, right? You have all of this space. You also have this entire area to change. Often when you're in a travel trailer, you have to change. If you have other people with you, there's nowhere to change your clothes. So you have to go into the bathroom, or you know, you're kind of stuck over in the side here. This gives you a nice big area to do that. You also get a coat closet with a removable shelf here at the foot of the bed, just like you do in the 25 RDS, as well as a drawer. But then what really sets it apart is going to be the wardrobe slide out. So again, if you're going for longer extended periods of time, having a wardrobe slide is going to be awesome. You can store a heck of a lot more clothes, shoes, everything with this. Now in a Timber Ridge, because this isn't here, you would have a window. So in the Blackstone, they've given you a skylight for additional light, but then it does have a blackout shade so that you can sleep in if you want. Again, the titanium is going to come with the upgraded mattress. It's also going to come with a little 12-volt TV here at the foot of the bed. And then the solid surface countertops on each side of the bed, as well as reading lights and under cabinet lighting. The reading lights, I know, again, it's one of those silly little things, but it's one of the things that I can't live without. When I went from a titanium back to a mountain series, I hated the fact that it didn't have reading lights. Basically in a mountain series, you're going to get a little light right here. You turn on a light, you turn it on, and it just shines directly into your eyes. You can't actually see your book or your magazine, and it's going to keep your partner awake. This is nice because you can direct it directly onto your book and not into your eyes or your partner's eyes. And you can use it as a night light as well as a reading light. The under cabinet lighting too, that was one of those little things that without it, I just couldn't see, right? So I had everything here on my nightstand, and I'm so used to turning on that light and being able to see. So I really missed that when I went away from a titanium series, which I'll never do again, by the way. 110 outlets on each side of the bed, as well as 12-volt and USB ports. And then a shirt ward on this side and more storage up here. And then you also have storage under the bed. So you can lift up the bed, have some really nice storage right here for linens. And then on each side of the bed, you have a drawer. So you have a drawer on each side. And then right here, this is a place to kick off your slippers or your shoes to keep them off the floor and away so you're not tripping over them. And also, we option all of our units in with the Max Air Deluxe vent fans. So that's going to be a 10-speed, fully automatic, thermostatically controlled with a built-in rain cover. This particular Blackstone is equipped with the 50 amp service. So if you are living somewhere or going to be traveling somewhere where it's very hot and humid, that's typically when we would recommend adding a second bedroom air. I would say 80% of people don't necessarily need them, especially up in the Pacific Northwest. It gets really hot, but it's a dry heat. It's typically when you're going to be in a hot and humid area. because I love the max fan. So when you get the air conditioner, you are going to lose the max air fan, right? I use that all the time, but I typically don't travel where it's hot and humid. So if you do need a second air, you can option in 50 amp service to the Blackstone series. Another thing to note about the Outdoors RV is that they have extremely tall ceiling heights. So 6'11" to the center. So I know we get a lot of taller people that have been in other trailers looking, and they just feel so claustrophobic and they're hitting their heads on the lights that hang down. So that is one thing that's really important to note, is 6'11" in all of the travel trailers. Coming into the bathroom, you're going to get a porcelain toilet in all Outdoors RVs, as well as a heat duct and an air conditioning duct. So that's going to be the same in all models. And that's really important to note because it is the worst when you get up and you come into a freezing cold bathroom, and nobody would also want to come into a super hot bathroom in the summer. So it's really nice to have the temperature be the same in the bathroom as it is in the rest of the coach. You're going to have a couple of towel hooks here behind the toilet. Because it's a titanium, you're going to get the magnifying mirror as well as the underslung stainless steel sink, upgraded hardware, and upgraded countertops. Solid hardwood medicine cabinet. Again, we're going to do the Max Air Deluxe vent fans, so that will be an exhaust fan here in the bathroom. Plenty of leg room here in front of the toilet as well. An additional cabinet right here with your hidden toilet paper holder. And then a glass neo-angle shower. And again, with the extra tall ceiling heights in the Outdoors RVs, plus an additional skylight, you're going to have plenty of headroom here in the shower, and upgraded hardware here in the shower as well. And you do have the little step right here. And I do like having a glass shower enclosure as well. That's just something that, I don't know, it just feels nicer, feels a little bit more like home. And then an additional couple of towel hooks right here beside the shower. With the main slide out in, you can access this half of the dinette if you want to sit down and have a snack while on the road. You can access the entire kitchen, the refrigerator. You can access this little pantry right here. You can't really get to the TV cabinet, so you wouldn't want to have anything stored in there that you would need to get to going down the road. We also don't recommend using the slide out while it's in the in position, because it's an insulated slide out. It's going to come up at an angle, and we just don't want you stepping on the slide or using it. Access to the fridge, full access to the bathroom, and then in the bedroom, with just the little slide out in, you can easily stop and rest if you needed to take a nap. So everything is completely accessible with the exception of the TV cabinet. On each entry door, you're going to have the new torque lift glow step. You're also going to have a grab bar handle, and everything's going to be trimmed out in chrome because it's a titanium. Again, auto leveling system. So that's going to be a 4-point system on the travel trailers. That is specific to the titanium as well, but that is going to auto level. So when you get to where you're going, you don't have to roll up on blocks or any of that. You just push a button in the front compartment and the whole trailer will auto level itself. Again, if you're traveling by yourself, that is extremely handy to have. Right here, this is going to be access and venting to your 10-gallon water heater, which is rapid recovery. You're going to have 2 exterior speakers underneath the awning. The awning is going to be almost the entire length of the trailer, and it's going to be wrapped in aluminum to protect the fabric. And you'll also have an LED light strip, so you can turn that on and it illuminates the whole side of the trailer. Right here is where you'll fill your 80-gallon freshwater tank. You have 110 outlets right here. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Outdoors RVs are going to be custom built here in Oregon. They also custom build their chassis. So every single floor plan has a chassis designed specifically for the floor plan that that's going to be built on it. So the Blackstone is going to be built on an 8-inch custom chassis. You're also going to get the off-road X4 suspension package as well as heavy-duty axles. The Off-Road X4 suspension package will be the MoreRide All-Trek 4000 suspension, heavy-duty shackles with bronze bushings, greasable zerts, as well as KYB off-road shocks. The KYB off-road shocks are not just important for going down rough roads, but also for body roll while you're on the freeway at high speeds. You're going to get the Goodyear Load Range E Endurance tires, and those will be 16-inch on the Blackstone. Right here is access and venting for your furnace. Right here is an access hatch to a quick disconnect LP hookup, so you can run a fire pit or a barbecue. And then coming around the front, this is going to be one of two side marker cameras. You're going to have one on each side that works in conjunction with the rear observation camera off the back. Thick insulated luggage doors, chrome latches, magnetic catches. And then inside this front storage compartment, so this is essentially your nightstand area. So all of this has been fully insulated to keep your bedroom area from getting any kind of drafts. That's also why they use the thick insulated doors as well as double latches so that it latches properly. Rubberized diamond plate flooring to protect the floor. This particular unit is going to have 1,000 watts of solar. That's why you have the two charge controllers here in the front compartment. You also have your auto leveling switches, battery disconnect, 12-volt and USB port, as well as an LED light strip inside. And then in conjunction with the roof-mounted solar that runs through those charge controllers, you also have the option of adding up to 200 watts of portable solar here to the side. You do want to make sure that the panel has a built-in charge regulator on it because it will not run through the charge regulators like the roof mount solar does. Also, I mentioned a Starlink port earlier. We were converting this to a Starlink port, but now we have devised a better plan to where we can add a Starlink port right next to it. Because this is built on the custom 8-inch I-beam chassis, you're going to get the full fiberglass front cap, so it wraps all the way around and doesn't seam here at the corner, it seams at the side. You're also going to get the rhino lining on the front to protect the fiberglass from rock chips. We option all of ours in with the 4-battery tray. Now, it used to be called a 4-battery tray because you could fit like a 12-volt battery or 6-volt batteries, you could fit 4. With the lithium, we can only fit up to 3 because they're slightly longer. But this battery tray has to be ordered in order for us to be able to put on our powder-coated aluminum lockbox. We have these made here locally by a family company. Toy lock, that is part of the mountain storage system. So the rear receiver hitch and the toy lock come as one option that we option on all of our units. Front power jack, this is part of the auto leveling system. And yes, it is supposed to be off the ground when you have auto leveled the trailer. The auto leveling, it will be resting on the 4 jacks. You do not need to run this jack down. You have your hitch caddy right here for your safety chains, your breakaway cable, and your 7-way cord to be up off the ground. The new Wallace coupler. And then 2 7.5-gallon propane tanks. Coming around to this side, you have the other side access to your front storage, your additional side marker camera. And then because it's a titanium, it's going to have the slide out toppers already on the trailer. So on each slide out, you're going to have a slide out topper that's going to keep rain, debris, pine cones, pine needles, snow, ice, everything off the top of your slide. And you can run it in if you want to run some of, like if it's pouring down rain or it's snowing, you can always just run the slide out in to get all of that off and run it back out. That way it doesn't get too much of a load on top of there. But you don't have to. It just keeps the fabric more taut if you can run it out or run it in on occasion. Black tank flush right here. Black and gray dump valve handles as well as a light. The Blackstone is going to come with an exterior shower, so hot and cold water with a little shower faucet, and you can hang it right here. And then if you don't want to fill up the 80-gallon freshwater tank, you can do city water if you're in a park right there. Back here is where you'll connect your 50 amp power cord, satellite and cable. One thing to note is a long time ago, back when trailers still had the pull-out power cords, that was a major problem for mice to get in. So switching over to the power cord that disconnects from the trailer and latches onto the trailer but doesn't have any holes inside the coach, that is going to keep critters out of your trailer. Outdoors RVs have a fully enclosed underbelly, so they're pretty good when it comes to mice. But here at Thompson RV, when you purchase a trailer from us, we go around on a creeper and check all of the underbelly and spray foam with pond foam, so it'll match, it'll be black, and you'll never even see it. But we go through and make sure that no mice or rodents can get into your coach. So that's part of when we service our trailers, we spend a ton of man hours on each unit. We want them to be perfect for you before you take it off our lot. So many times, I mean, almost everybody is coming from very far away to purchase their trailers here. So it's really important that we have the trailer perfect before you get it. 4-inch steel bumper with sewer hose storage. Another titanium feature is going to be backup lights in conjunction with the backup camera. Again, if you are parking your trailer by yourself, especially at night, having backup lights and a backup camera is a must. The mountain storage system, like I talked about earlier, comes with that toy lock on the front and then the rear receiver hitch back here. That's good for up to 250 pounds. A full-size spare tire, and then a heavy-duty ladder to get up and down off of the roof to check your roof sealants. Thank you so much for watching our video on the new 2026 Blackstone 250 RDS. If you have any questions, we have our number listed down below, as well as our website right here. And everybody here owns and uses outdoors RVs, so you feel free to talk to anyone here.